Hey campers, Therese here with the Woodsy couple, and I'm here to finally review for you Fort Desoto Campground. So what do you want to get into first, the good or the bad? Let's talk about the good first. So the good parts. Site 30, the best site, hands down. It's wide, it's shady, it's close to the water. There aren't any mangroves that get in the way of the view of the water. Some downsides to that is there is like this grassy area. It almost acts like a moat around the whole campground. Site 42 was very narrow. There was barely enough room to fit 2 cars and 2 tents. So just keep that in mind. You're really gonna want to look for those extra wide sites. I think site 30 was really nice, and I'll show you on the map here. So those sites along the top there are pretty generally good to go. So there were mangroves in front of the view of the water. There was like a little cutaway or area where we could actually slip the kayak in. The problem with that is that the tide was too low, so we ended up walking through about 50 yards of muck before we could actually push the kayak out into the water. That was unsafe. They don't recommend that. There's no swimming in the campgrounds at all, for good reason. There's like huge mud pits, and when you're walking in it you could just sink and fall into one, so that's just not a good scene. Anyway, we did it, we were safe about it, and here I am to live to tell the tale. Another good pro is that the electricity and water are reliable. Con, there were no fire pits for some reason. There was only a grill, so there goes all the marshmallows that I brought. The interesting thing about that grassy moat too was that you couldn't pitch any tents there, you couldn't light any fires there, so it really was like a no man's land. People were walking back and forth, so the privacy really wasn't there. That's another con. I thought that this area would be super private. That's kind of how, in my preview video, which I'll link to below, I mentioned that the privacy was supposed to be the #1 thing about Fort Desoto, and I just didn't find it that way. We had campsite neighbors on the 2 sides of us, and we could hear them all night fighting off the next thing that I'm here to talk about, and that's those darn raccoons. Those are no joke, like I was saying. The raccoons and the squirrels kind of get together, and they will steal your food. They'll steal it at night, they'll steal it in the daytime. It doesn't really matter to them. It was raining also the whole entire time that we were out there, so hooray. Unfortunately, Brian wasn't able to join me this time around. You guys haven't heard about the accident that we got into on my birthday. It wasn't really an accident that we got into, it was more than an accident that he got into. Anyway, it still worked out. Birthday turned out great, everyone's fine, but that's why the videos haven't been pumped out in the last few weeks. So for my birthday, I did manage to pick up this nice tote from Patagonia. It's really wide. They fixed the issue where it doesn't clasp. They added this little hook here. It's got a little pocket, zipper pocket inside, and it's got some rings here for carabiners. It's made out of recycled polyester. I like the brown, it's kind of classy. So if I had to give a score for Fort Desoto Campground, I'd give it a 3 out of 5. It's not somewhere that I necessarily would want to go to on a regular basis, even though I live about 20 minutes away from there. Honestly, I prefer to go to the woods. The beach is just not where you're meant to camp. We did have a great day there, and we did end up going to the beach our final day when the rain finally stopped and the sun came out, and we were able to walk along the beach, and we're taking video of the berms. It's just really pretty out there with all the flowers and the different seagrass blooming. Anyway, so have a look at that. If you have a chance to check out Fort Desoto Beach, I highly recommend that. The beach is completely separate from the campground, so no judgment there. It's definitely one of my favorite beaches, so make sure you check it out. Until next time, make sure you keep it woodsy.